It's the Empowerment Perspective Podcast, hosted by Demiso Josie and Mr. Kareem Spence. Stay empowered. Stay empowered.
All right, welcome to yet another episode of the Empowerment Perspective Podcast. I go by the name of Demiso Josie alongside
Spencer's here.
How we doing?
It's been a long time.
It has been. I don't know, the new year, we got off to a little slow start. Well, I did the Fatherhood Podcast with Pete Palisano, so we've still been working, and you've been mentoring, so, you know,
Yes.
the Empowerment Perspective Group has been out here doing its thing, so...
And that's part of the reason why I was late, because I was sitting at Burger King, responding to a text message, and I'm put them on blast because I want to get them down to the HBCU College Expo in March. I want to take everybody. And the comment that was made is, I guess it's like my take it personal. I got two.
Right.
I take it personal what they said about you last week before. So the comment was made rather not if I should take all the students down to the College Expo, or if I should just take some students to the College Expo, mainly those that are on the path to go to college. But in my mind is that if we're mentoring and we're trying to, guide young minds, I don't know what's going to be that lightning bolt that's going to spark it and say, you know what, I'm ready to go and do this. But if I limit to you and say, you know what, you can't go.
You can't go. It'll never happen.
I'll never know.
So they're trying to limit the number of kids that can go.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
Really interesting.
And I would take it personal. I'm going to take it. I have a lot to say. I got a lot to
Keep
say.
going
It's
in.
been a long time. I got a lot to say. So last week, right, you come down and you're spending your time about 45, 50 minutes that you had to drive. Right, so you're engaging the youth and you're trying to give them an analogy of taking full control over their lives and their education. The teacher decided that it wasn't a good idea because you mentioned two key phrases that you don't need teachers. And I'm glad we're having a talk today with a trainer because eventually, I don't really need you after a certain time.
The interesting thing about that comment, and our viewers, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but the gentleman made a statement about schools not teaching them Black history and had them having to learn it on their own. That comment just proved what I was basically saying in the comment of you don't necessarily need teachers. Because what's happening is these kids go to school, they're bored all day long, and they're waiting for these adults to give them information.
Yes.
That limits me to the knowledge of that teacher. You don't know everything. The teacher doesn't know everything. So I'm waiting for them to give me stuff that I'm not interested in the first place.
But then what happens when I take a day off? Mental health day.
Right.
That means I get no education?
No education.
Day wasted.
Right. So my point was that they need to go out and take their education.
Absolutely.
So when you have that mentality, the teacher can technically walk into the classroom and say, I need, here's the chapters that you need to know and bounce. Especially today's technology. You can go on Google and find out whatever the heck I need to find out and answer those questions. The problem I think our youth have is they're too passive. And that's the one thing I do not want my children to experience is being passive. You need to go out. If you have an idea, you get the resources together and you go out and take it. And you can learn this stuff on your own. Yes. And as an educator and as a principal, I'm telling you right now, I don't need school to educate my children. As a parent.
The school in itself is just a building.
Yes.
The education comes when you have different experiences with different people. And then you can take a little bit from here, you take a little bit from there, you take a little bit from there. But at the same time, we need to connect with people. But, they have to be aggressive in what they are chasing after.
Now, I will say the teacher is there as a resource.
Facilitate.
Right.
Yes, like LeBron. Right. Facilitate today. He's going to facilitate
If I
the
get stuck, yes, I'm going to ask you for help.
Yes.
But if I sit here and wait for you, I'm never going to learn Black history.
Yes.
Ever.
Right. Yes.
So I'm taking it personal on that comment that also the gentleman was 30 minutes late, so that also set a precedence. He missed the whole he took the whole comment out of context.
He just jumped in.
It is jumped in.
We don't need teachers.
Right.
I'm a teacher. Yes.
And I was like, and I'm an administrator, so I know exactly what's going on here. So, but that's the whole thing about the empowerment perspective is putting people in positions to empower them, giving you the knowledge and the tools so that you can become successful. If you keep waiting, this world's going to eat you up. You'll be waiting till you blue in the face.
Yeah.
And you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's like waiting, like at the airport for them to call your section, you the board, and you're sitting there, you're waiting,
looking at you,
and you start asking, did anybody call section 1 yet?
Well, section 1 got called 10 minutes ago. Oh, now you got to sit in that line.
Yes,
that's funny. That is funny. So,
yes, sir.
We have a special guest in the building today.
Yes,
long lost friend.
Yeah.
So I'll keep reaching.
She was on the milk box.
Huh?
She was on the milk box.
No, she was not on the milk box.
Oh.
She wasn't that kind of lost.
Well, let me ask you this, because in my neighborhood where I come from, we can't find you in 2 places. You in college, or were you in jail? Where were you?
Wasn't the second one.
Okay, all right.
That's really interesting. So I keep digging deep into my Rolodex and reconnecting with people I went to school with. I think you went to school with my wife since elementary school, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then I think we met in middle school, and then high school happens. You kind of separate and things, and then this magical thing called Facebook happened.
Okay.
And you start reconnecting with people.
Okay.
I wonder what she's doing.
Okay.
And then I found out she's into personal training. So what we're going to do this month of February, we're talking about health and fitness, because it's getting around that time where everyone's starting to have their New Year's resolutions. I know you hate that word. We'll get to that in a second. And they're starting to fall off.
I hate this time. Let me tell you what. I got to say.
He's mad at me.
Yeah.
Well, not so much as you. Is that I'm mad that I can't get to the machines and the equipment that I need, because everybody, from my understanding, is trying to get slim for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But you just can't come in January and start tying up all the machines. Now, the people that's been there from the summertime, like me, I need to get my workout in the way. Let's move.
It's a phenomenon.
I took the other approach. I stopped going.
You
I'm going to wait for all the suckers to clear out first, and then go back up in there where it's nice and clear.
I just stand next to the machine like you almost done. This is your last breath. You almost done? And you're not sweating. Like when your phone texting, what are you doing?
Well, I'd like to officially welcome you to the podcast.
Welcome.
I don't know how to say your last name. I'm trying to practice, but I didn't want to get it wrong. I know what it used to be. So how do you pronounce your last name?
Pennabianco.
Whoa.
Let's see, that's a lot of letters.
It's a lot. It's a mouthful. It's a mouthful. Pennabianco.
Pennabianco. Melanie Pennabianco's in the building.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going now. Welcome, Mel. Welcome to the show.
Perfect. One syllable.
Yes,
I can't mess that up.
I'm not going.
That is too funny.
One syllable is perfect. No, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor. I've been following your group since you started, early in the process, and I will say it was like an honor for you to, you requested anybody who was in the fitness world to kind of reach out to you, and when you decided to have me, I was like, this is cool, because you guys touch a lot of people, and your goal is to help people reach their full potential, and that's something that I feel that I try to aspire to, every day in what I do. So this is an honor, and it's super cool to be here with you guys. So I'm excited to share and help in any way that I can.
Let's go ahead.
I have a confession.
What you got?
Though.
What you got?
Because we put in a lot of work, especially like when you're in this line of business, you don't often see the fruits of your labor. Like, you know what I mean? You hope that people listen to you and carry on and things of that nature. And I was getting a little discouraged after, here and there. And I was like, do I really want to keep doing this? And because I'm very visual, so I need to see, my work, the results of my work. So I really want to keep doing this and doing these podcasts and stuff. I love traveling and meeting new people and stuff like that. But every so often, people make comments like, the work that we're doing is really impacting people. So it's not about me. It's definitely not about making a whole lot of money and all that stuff. It's just that we have experiences and ideas that we want to share with people, stuff that helped us, so that we just want to give it to other people. So it makes me feel good that you actually feel that way. Because I wanted to know what your honest assessment was since you've been listening to it.
What you're doing matters, and I feel like when you have that come from of what can I do through my life experience and my whatever your niche is, to positively impact other people's lives, and you put yourself out there. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes we're in our comfort zone. A lot of times when you're making it about other people, you're actually outside your comfort zone. I'm sure that initially this was outside your comfort zone. There were a lot of things that you guys did that were like, maybe you took it from just audio to video.
Right.
Maybe you weren't quite, ready, whatever the scenario is, but know that you're making a difference, because even if my whole thing is you touch one person, that one person can go and touch 100 people, right? So what you're doing matters.
It's awesome. I think we don't have a comfort zone, to be honest with you, because we just try stuff.
Right.
It's like, is it work? All right, we'll try this. We'll do that. We got this presentation. all right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the kind of thing that we that's just who we are. So we don't have a comfort zone per se. And I wish so many other people would stop putting themselves into that box and saying that I'm just this and not exploring other things.
But that goes to the mental side of things. Even with personal training, and most of it's all mental. So when they say that, you know what, I can't do this, or I can't lift this, or I can't run that extra mile, that's where it comes into that mental side, the mental block, the mental barriers that they create for themselves.
Right. So I was listening to you and my wife talk earlier, and I was taking notes, mental notes and things, and we talked about let's talk about this concept of the resolution and why you don't like that word. Why is that word so taboo?
So I think that I have a problem with that word because most people make resolutions and really aren't serious about a resolution. I think it's the thing to do when a new year comes. I mean, it's called a New Year's resolution, right? It's that January. It's the reason you can't get on equipment at the gym right now.
Oh, yes. It's the worst.
It's 110% the reason. And it's not likely to be stuck to. I would put myself out there and say that if you were to ask the majority of people just in your life, in your circle, tell me 1 to 2 resolutions that you've made in your life that you've followed through with and stuck with, you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot of people, right, who have done that. The other reason I don't like the word resolution is it alludes to the fact that somebody has to do a complete overhaul of who they are. And I'm a believer in we all have the sound foundation of ourselves on the whole. We might have to dig down deep, to access that, but we have that. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses, right? To me, when you want to improve yourself, you have to tap into those strengths and work on the weaknesses to some degree, right? So you're talking about the mental aspect of anything, success in anything. I'm a bigger fan of the word goal than resolution. I think that the reason people don't set goals is because they don't know how to. And they fear goals because when you put a goal out there and you write it down, tell somebody, whatever it is, it's that fear of, am I really willing to do what it takes to put the work in, to make that happen? If I say it's a resolution, it's almost as if people get a free pass to not follow through, you know what I mean, on a resolution. Where when it's a goal, and I've told 10 friends that I'm going to write a book this year,
right?
Now I'm accountable.
You have a book coming out?
Yeah, I'm gonna be right. I am in the process.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, in the process.
We had a pre-conversation.
When I was at Burger King?
No, this was a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
When you first started talking.
But no, I'm a bigger fan of the word goal. But when I talk to people, whether it's in the fitness industry, anywhere, and you start talking about goals, it's like, whoa, goals.
You're right.
And I think that it's because most adults have never really set them themselves. Maybe you set a goal to graduate college, but didn't that college initially set that four-year goal and timeline for you? Graduating high school, it's kind of the expectation, you know what I mean? And that goal was set for you.
Right.
So when I talk to adults, it's like, well, I wouldn't even know how to go about setting a goal. Like, what do you mean? And you have to I have to teach them. And that's that mental behavior-driven stuff.
So how do we set goals? What's the
secret?
What's the secret?
Yeah, so it's sitting down and thinking about what you want. That's what I tell people. I'm like, well, okay, in my industry, since we're using fitness, I could talk about goals. We could do a whole separate, podcast on that. But
you want your own podcast now?
Next month when you have me on. No, but when it comes to fitness, I tell people you need to sit down. And the first thing I ask people, they enroll in the gym. They're a new member, let's say. They meet with me as a trainer just for their initial, we're going to show you around. We're going to talk about why you're here, set you, on pace to do what you want to do. The first thing I say to them is, what are your goals? Why did you join the gym?
It's that why question again.
And they're like, I want to lose weight.
Right.
Okay, that's fantastic. Right. But here, it's not specific enough.
Right.
And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you have to know specifically how much weight you want to lose.
Right.
And people go, no, I can't. A number is it's too accountable. It's not gray. It's black, right? It's like I have now. If I say the number 15,
Right.
and I only lose 12, you know what I mean?
Right.
That it becomes so. It's teaching them that number one, give yourself permission to set the goal. Give yourself permission that if something happens and that you don't achieve that goal, that's okay, but we don't stop working, you know what I mean, towards that goal.
Right.
So it's teaching them, and I use the acronym SMART, goals have to be specific. You have to know exactly what you want to accomplish. They have to be measurable, as the M. You have to have some tool that measures that you accomplished that, right? They have to be attainable, so it can't be something that's so outside your realm, of achieving. Realistic. You can't tell me you want to lose 70 pounds in a month. That's not, that's not realistic. Now, we can take that timeline out, and that's the T, right? It has to be time bound. Right. So we've got to know what we want to accomplish, that's realistic for us to accomplish it, and that there's a deadline to that.
Right.
I like that you did that with no notes. That's
That was awesome, man.
that's really, she studied.
She did this.
That is conversation.
It's real. It's real.
That's awesome.
She actually believes in this little smart thing.
I do believe in that.
One of our foundational things that we talk about is that why. Like, in order for you to establish a realistic goal for yourself, you have to have that reason behind why you're doing it. And I feel like when it comes to fitness or health things, a lot of people struggle with it because they don't have a strong enough why. So it's easier for me to be like, all right, I give up. But when you have that why where you really can't give up, or else it's a matter of life and death at that point, then it becomes, a little bit easier to stay with that process.
Because you figure like, okay, if I don't do this, I don't eat. Now it becomes a survival of the fittest, and I need to be able to complete this mission, or I won't eat.
Right.
So I think that's huge, though.
It is huge, and that's that reason. It can't be. I tell people it can't be that you want to sit fitness size 4.
Right.
That's not good enough.
Right.
And for me, whenever I teach people about why, because I'm a big believer in that word too, it's like there has to be something that is going to improve your lifestyle, your quality, that quality of life thing. That's got to be that why, that driving force. So I train a lot of women, a lot of moms. I use their kids all day. It's what I say to them. I'm like, you can't get up and down off the floor right now with your child to play. That's your why. The 20 pounds is the measurable, specific aspect of your goal, but the goal is your quality of life and your child, and being able to get up and down off that floor.
Right.
And whenever you don't want to come to the gym, or you want to go through the drive-through,
20 below. I'm not going.
You got it.
They should close.
We know.
They should close the gym. The gym is closed.
But I tell them, picture your child's face.
Right.
And it's harsh for some people, but it's the truth.
Right.
So it is that why is super important.
I know we're talking mental here, but when it comes to health and fitness, I also heard Drew, my wife, talk about basically 3 elements. The mental is one element. What are those other 2 elements to, I guess, your fitness goals?
Yeah. So what's interesting about I use weight loss as an example, or weight management, is most people focus on the other 2, the mental / behavior side. They focus on strictly the nutrition and the activity side, right? So there's 3 elements to weight loss, truly, and an ongoing sustainable health, really. Because I use the word weight loss, but really, for me, it's health. For me, it shouldn't be the superficial reasons that we're doing it. It should be that ongoing quality, energy level, all those things, removal of medications, whatever it is for somebody, right? The mental side is the hardest, though, because I will say most people only think that the 2 sides exist.
Right.
Activity level,
Right.
which activity level we break into 2 things, like the everyday stuff that you're already doing. So if somebody's a waitress, they're already walking all day, right? They're already doing all those things all day. It's the additional activity, the exercise, right, on top of that falls in that category. The nutrition, everything we're putting in our bodies, every single day, and then the behavior, on the mental side. So most people, especially in January, fruits and vegetables in the house, we're going to Whole Foods, we're doing all those things. We're taking up parking spots at the gym, and then all of a sudden, they didn't work on the mental behavior side. So this is all action-oriented, right? The nutrition and the activity is all action.
Right.
So when we don't want to do that anymore, and we haven't worked on the behavior and the mental side, We stop doing those
Doing that
action
stuff,
things.
right.
So that's why 2 weeks from now, you don't need to worry about your equipment.
It'll be there.
It's sad to say, but those people are not going to be on that equipment anymore
Right.
because they haven't changed their habits. They haven't changed their mentality. They haven't looked for their why. Written down those goals, worked with somebody, to help them through that kind of
I
stuff.
think part of the reason is one, it's the hardest to change, and two, it's not something that's tangible. Like I can go to the store and see the ingredients of healthy foods. I can go to the gym and get that exercise, but mentally, it's the concept is nothing that I can really touch. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to one, understand it, and then two, to be able to change your behavior to do it. It's tough. I think establishing a routine is huge in changing those behaviors.
Yes.
And really putting yourself in a zone where like you don't have an option. Like when I do go back to the gym, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't have an option because it's the only time I can get it in, and it just becomes a part of my routine. It's to the point now I still wake up 4:30 in the morning. I was up this morning like sitting there chilling.
You go to the bathroom?
My body is just conditioned, and my mind and my behavior is conditioned to do that.
God damn, yeah. I talked about it.
You talked
It's just
about
a conversation.
Couldn't do
I
it.
think I'm going to get up at 5, but no.
I don't have enough. I mean, because my day's so busy out after that. So that's the only time that I have to actually clear my head and to focus just on me, and then get myself ready for the day. Because after that, it's like you got the horse races, and they're off.
Yes,
Like, you run it all day
The
long.
behavior part, like you're saying, it's scary for people. And the way that I try to reel it in and make it not scary is to tell people just start small with behaviors. Like if I'm talking to somebody about nutrition. Now I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a registered nutritionist. So my scope of practice, being a trainer, it's a little small on the nutrition side. I can do, I can recommend things, and I can kind of push people in a general healthy direction. I can't write them up, meal plans and things like that. But if I'm using nutrition, not good.
No?
That's a big no-no.
What about beans? What about beans for breakfast? Can I have this for breakfast?
Absolutely no.
No.
Bought a 2-liter Pepsi and some Doritos, and he got some more snacks.
Well, since we are
Sounds
talking,
like he has. Oh yeah, those are good too. Yeah, all artificial flavors.
this is a no-no.
No, it's a big no.
So, well, here's the thing. Parents, don't send your kids to school with this kind of stuff. And you saying it's no good. Because in the building, I see kids eating this. Now, I want to eat this during the game, but I see kids in the building eating this for breakfast. I see students having stuff like this for lunch. And this is all they'll have, like 6.5 hours a day. 5 days a week. This is what they're having with their lunch.
Yeah.
If they throw the sandwich away, eat the snacks.
But it tastes so good.
It does.
That's
it really does.
Well, that's it as a society. Like it's like that instant gratification. You know what I mean? And it's that it goes down to that mental aspect that we talked about, because the nutrition and the activity still involve the mental aspect, right? So it's like reprogramming your brain on getting rid of the old habits, getting rid of but I will tell you, like from somebody who does cycles of clean eating, and again we could talk about that in a whole separate conversation, but no one who eats, when we eat processed food, everybody does it. We live in a society of processed food. It's just, unless you're a 100% clean eater, everybody eats that kind of stuff from time to time, at least, right? When you do that, you're interfering with your body's natural processes, your ability to break down food, your ability to absorb nutrients, things like that. When you eliminate that stuff, even for 30 days, your body gets a clean slate. Almost, right? So it starts to do things differently. You start to feel a different energy level. You start to sleep better. Skin starts to clear out. Things start to happen. So no one really knows that that's what your body's supposed to feel like, because since we were children and going to school, and even the baby food that's that's on the market, our bodies have been filled with stuff that it shouldn't be filled with. But if you can go through the process that even the 30 days where you're eliminating, I tell people, just eliminate processed food for 30 days. That's all. Become an ingredient. I know, it's hard.
No, I don't want to.
It's hard, right? But
I don't want to give up sugar.
Eliminate it, and see how just argument's sake, see how your body feels.
Does that work with people? Can I eliminate people for 30 days? And I'm going to feel refreshed. Ready to go.
Anything toxic.
Send the recipe.
I'm going off the grid for 30 days, everybody.
You shut it down?
Coming back refreshed.
Now, how much water should we be drinking?
Oh, water is such a good topic because that's one of those behavior changes that I get people to try to do because most people are really dehydrated. That's the reality. And a lot of people think that what they believe is fat storage actually is water storage in their body. So there's a great article, and I'll share it with you guys, and you can get it out there and share it with everybody. You don't even
water,
have
read, get rid of people.
It's so many healthy things thrown at you all at once.
Messing up the entire NBA season. Playoffs about to start.
It's a great article, and it allows you to like enter in your body weight, enter in the average amount of time daily, that you have physical activity, and then it tells you how many ounces of water per day, you should be taking in. But most people can't get up to that number right away, right? Because you're taking them from, somebody might drink one of these in a day, average. When, like me, I should be drinking 107 ounces of water a day, right? So
107.
The heavier you are, the more water you should be
Ain't that much water in the world for me.
But keep in mind things like soup, things like coffee, things like, that are juice.
Soda?
That is still
Beer?
considered beer, no.
Soda?
Alcohol,
No.
no. Soda, no. Unfortunately, sorry. But anyway, my point is, even if I can get somebody, the first thing they do in the morning is just pour themselves a glass of water when they wake up. They drink that water. The last thing they do at night, have some water. You know what I mean? Before you work out, have some water. If we can start little steps like that, those are those little behavior changes that I'm talking about, that all of a sudden people are like, well, I could do that, so give me the next thing, that I could do. So it's those little tweaks that I think set people up to be more successful, because when you throw 5 things at anybody that wants to tweak, they're like, I'm not doing any of those things. You know what I mean? So the water is super, super important. We can't function without water, and the majority of our society is completely dehydrated. So
Sounds like a challenge.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the same thing.
They got a 30-day squat challenge. They had the push-up challenge. I say we should challenge people not to drink water and see what happens.
See what happens.
See what happens. Let's see how your body turns
We're
out.
supposed to be helping people,
We are.
not killing them.
You have to show the opposite side of the spectrum in order for people to actually understand what the danger is for not having water.
I see who's going to be
It won't be
sacrificial
me.
lamb.
It won't be me.
That is too funny. I know previously in our conversation we talked about the process, and people need to enjoy the process and not necessarily worry about the end result so much. How do you get your client to focus on the process more so? I know you have the goal at the end, but if they don't fall in love with the process, this is when they start falling off your resolutions. Your goal setting and stuff.
No, it's true. It's chunking down that goal. That's kind of where I start with people, right? So if we have a 60-day goal,
Are you a teacher? You're talking a lot of teaching terms. You sound like a teacher. Yeah.
Same language.
Okay.
It's chunking that down, right? So if we have a 60-day goal, like that's far away for a lot of people. That's 8 weeks, right? That's 8 weeks of nutrition, 8 weeks of activity, 8 weeks of behavior changes, and sometimes when that goal seems so far away, you got to break it down, and reel it in for people. So the first thing I do around activity and around exercise is tell people, let's get really clear about what you don't want to do involving exercise, because you have some example. Some people have like group anxiety. They don't want to be in a fitness, in a fitness class.
Like
they
Zumba?
don't want to be, like stuff like that.
Yeah, I like Zumba.
They don't like to be, like I work out solo. I don't like working out with anybody. That's how I operate. That's how I am.
You talk to people when you work out? I don't like people talking to me.
Earbuds in, don't talk to me. Yeah, I take my daughter occasionally. We talk because I'm helping her with things. But if I'm not training you and I'm on the clock, I'm working out, I'm doing my own thing. Even when me and my husband go, I like, don't talk to me. We're good. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. But some people love that environment, though. Like some people love the group environment. Quite frankly, it's why CrossFit is so successful, is because it's a community, right? People love that you go there, you support each other. It's wonderful. That's not an environment for me. So I help to try to identify what are we ruling out? What don't you like? And then let's figure out what you do like. If it comes down to group stuff, go ahead.
How do we get away from leg day? Leg day is leg day is the worst.
I don't really have an answer for that one. I think you have to just keep doing it.
Leg day's the worst. What day is it? Leg day.
Yeah. But I have them understand that it doesn't have to be punishment exercise. You know, it should be something that you enjoy. I try to make our sessions enjoyable. I try to explain to them that now that you're part of this gym, if I'm training somebody in the gym environment, this is a community. You know, try to get to know people who you're next to the, elliptical on. Some people aren't social though, so you can't go there. So it's kind of getting to know the person, a lot of people are uncomfortable in a gym when they first start, especially women. Women are like, everybody's looking at me. Everybody's judging me. Everybody.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do you guys show up at the gym with a whole bunch of makeup on?
Oh, not me. Not me.
That's what I was going to say. That
No.
if I go up, let's say the girl dropped the towel, so I went to go pick it up for her. She thinks I'm hitting on her at the gym. I'm like, I'm just picking up the towel. I'm good.
No, that's not everybody. But I will say that the majority of women, I have to explain to them that men are here and they're looking at themselves more than they're looking at you, right? So the women have this false sense of what a gym environment is. Like, everybody's judging me, everybody's looking at me, you have to drop that. That needs to go right away. We can't worry about what others think of us. This is your journey. That's number one. But it is that type of stigma that you have to work against, and I find it more with my female clients, than I do with my male clients. The guys are just there to kind of go in, get the job done, you know what I mean, and then leave. Whereas I feel women are on kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, so we have to work against that with them a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like you. Don't talk to me when I'm in the gym. I don't even want you to say hi. Like, just don't even look at me.
I left one day because somebody was talking to me too much. So you know what? I'm just going to leave. That's no need.
He's like, I'm out. That is too funny. So I see on social media a lot, these people that are in the gym doing these exercises completely wrong. Now, you, off the clock, you're doing your own workout. Have you went up and told somebody, listen, you about to hurt yourself? Because that's not how the machines go.
Say, listen, stupid.
It's such a fine line.
Go tear your rotator cuff.
Yeah, it is. It's such a fine line. When I'm off the clock, no. Now, if it's somebody I know from town, and I feel comfortable with them, then they know what I do for a living. Of course, I'll walk over and I'll be like, hey, where'd you learn how to do a squat? Or where did you learn? And I kind of like start the conversation and I kind of give them some pointers. On the clock, when I'm at the gym and I'm not with a client, maybe I'm walking the floor or whatever, I will go up to a member and I'll say, hey, would you mind if I give you a little bit of help with your form? Because I really don't want you to hurt your back. I noticed that you were, too far forward, or your knees are over your, whatever it is. You have to know the person that you're approaching too. Men are much less approachable with that kind of stuff. I will say, no offense. Women are a little bit more like, but yeah. So that's a touchy thing.
Too funny.
Because there's a whole segment of people out there who really do think they know what they're doing. Like, you can tell they're confident. They think they know what they're doing, and I'm like, you're not going to have a knee in in 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's hard because it does bother you. Like, you're like, really want to go up to that person.
I saw this video. This lady was on this lat pull down machine, right? Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be sitting down, pulling the bar. She's twisting it.
Oh.
I was cracking up. Like, seriously. Like, you really thought that machine did that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that supposed to be doing for you in the first place?
So she's pulling and twisting?
She's not pulling the weight down. She just twisted. Maybe she's stretching herself out.
What I will do, like, I don't know if you guys have these on your machines at the gym you go to, but like most Life Fitness machines, which are a lot of what the gyms use, have like a diagram on them that actually show you